There's a film almost no one talks about. Not because it's underground, but because it's been erased. No IMDb page, no production history, just a single surviving file passed through dark web forums. They call it Harrow House, and viewers say if you finish it, you won't sleep for days. I tracked it down, and what I found was way worse than a movie. This might be a cursed recording of something real. Let me explain. Back in March of 2009, we find our protagonist. He is walking up to an old abandoned home. His flashlight flickers. There's a low groaning sound in the background. He pushes open the door, and we see our first shot inside. The walls are covered with graffiti and what appears to be bloodstains. Our guy calls out into the darkness, then shines his light further into the room where it catches something written on the wall. It reads, "Do not wake her." He doesn't respond, instead shining his light around the corner, where we catch our first glimpse of the woman. She stands in the doorway, shrouded in shadow. But as the camera moves toward her, she vanishes frame by frame. Now, if this was a normal film, we could write it off as a jump scare, one of the many throughout. But it isn't. Not only do all these scenes play straight, but they feel so realistic. So let's dive deeper. 13 years ago, according to Reddit threads from as far back as 2012, Harrow House was uploaded anonymously to a banned horror forum. The poster said they found it while exploring an abandoned server. Just one 67-minute file, no audio track metadata, no known director. According to them, it looked like found footage, guy with a GoPro breaking into an abandoned house. But the details, way too specific to be fiction. For example, the user wrote, "There was also some news clippings mentioning a missing person named Rebecca Barnes, which fit the timeline of when the video was made." The poster even included a news clipping they found online detailing a missing person case from that time period. The description said she had been missing for 3 weeks and was last seen at her home. So the user had a theory. Maybe the film was based on a true story. As proof, they attached another image, a screenshot of an address typed onto a piece of paper. It read, 189 Ashworth Road, Middleport, Ohio. To make things more eerie, the name of the street is spelled incorrectly, as in, Ashworth has an H at the end. But it turns out Ashworth Road is a real street in Middleport, Ohio. And it turns out the address leads to a property record for a single-family home. However, according to the county auditor, the home hasn't been occupied in over 10 years. Fast forward to May 12, 2021. The home mysteriously burned to the ground. Firefighters responded quickly, but no one was inside and no one was hurt. What makes this odd is the fire department received no calls about the blaze, meaning it likely went unnoticed for hours. When they arrived, flames were shooting through the roof. We don't know how long it burned, but it destroyed the whole building. According to firefighters on TikTok, one of them spotted a girl standing in the attic, but when they searched, they found nothing. Creepy. Then there's the handwriting. People who explored the property say they found the exact same writing on the house. One resident told us, "It was definitely creepy. Some of the stuff was still on the wall. Why did you come back?" But this might be where things get weird. The home wasn't just abandoned, it was practically erased. Online property records now show a vacant home demolished. And one neighbor told us they never knew it existed. Others told us they heard strange noises coming from the burning building. Some said they witnessed strange lights inside the home prior to the fire. Now, remember that news clipping I mentioned earlier? Well, it turns out Rebecca Barnes is also listed as a missing person in Ohio. And the details match what we see in the film. She was last seen at her family home. Her father told investigators he hadn't seen her in 3 weeks and she had no friends or romantic prospects. To this day, no one knows what happened to her, not even her brother. He told us, "They never found her body, so I hope she's out there somewhere, but I doubt it. It's been 13 years. I think something bad happened to her." But here's where it gets scary. Users who watched it in one sitting reported nightmares of a woman whispering their name, random nosebleeds, tech glitches, and in 2 cases they vanished from online activity completely. Even scarier? One Redditor claimed their reflection kept moving after they walked away for 2 days after watching it. Let me take you back to the film. The cameraman continues to explore, finding nothing but dust and cobwebs. As the film progresses, he ventures deeper into the house, reaching the attic. As he creeps up the stairs, we hear a humming noise in the background. Suddenly, the camera detects motion and zooms in on a figure wearing white, crawling backward. She doesn't turn around, but the camera follows her. Slowly, we realize she's naked and whatever she's carrying is wrapped in a blanket. We don't see her face. The camera zooms in on the blanket, but she hides it every time. Finally, she stops under a vent and places the blanket down. The camera's light illuminates her face. I'll let you describe what you see in the comments. Suffice it to say, she doesn't look human, so let's fast forward to the end. The man finds a door in the attic, kicks it open, revealing a pitch-black room. He enters. Nothing. Then a light turns on behind him. He screams. She's right behind him, eyes wide. But when he turns around, she's gone. The camera falls and the screen cuts to black. Here's where things get terrifying. I mentioned the film was uploaded to a now-defunct horror forum. But believe it or not, that's not the only place people talk about Harrow House. For instance, in June 2014, a user posted a link to a Google Drive folder containing the film. By February 2015, though, the folder had been removed. Since then, copies have been uploaded to various platforms. Every single one has been taken down for violating community guidelines. Not a single verified copy exists. The highest quality we have comes from a YouTube rip. I'll put the best quality version I could find in the description. But be warned, it's heavily pixelated and glitchy. But why? Why would the platform remove a decade-old horror film? What makes it so disturbing? Well, to answer that question, I did my own research. I reached out to everyone talking about it online, including the original poster from Reddit. Unfortunately, most were hesitant to speak publicly, citing personal safety concerns. One user spoke to us on the condition of anonymity. They said, "A lot of the speculation regarding the house is true. The news clippings, the missing persons report. The fact that it may be based on a true story makes it scary. If the events depicted in the film are real, then it means the film is cursed. And here's why they believe that. Back in 2015, a user uploaded a found footage-style sequel called Return to Harrow House, and one scene specifically disturbed viewers. It depicted the same cameraman holding a bloodied meat cleaver and chanting the woman's name. But one thing didn't make sense the entire time he was chanting, Rebecca Barnes. But in the first film, the woman's name was Sarah. So here's what I believe. Harrow House is more than a movie. It's a connection between worlds. The film works because it blurs the line between fiction and reality. If that's possible, it gets better. Let me tell you what happened to me. After finding the film, I watched it, of course, alone in a well-lit room with my laptop propped open on my desk. When it was over, my lights flickered. My footage glitched. At night, my Alexa turned on by itself and played humming just like the attic scene. Then when I turned off my computer, I thought I heard footsteps nearby. So I turned it back on. What I'm showing you is exactly what I saw on my screen when I did. So I'll ask again, was this just a forgotten indie horror? Or a digital curse captured in real time? I have the file. I can upload it. But I won't unless you ask comment if you want the full uncut version. But be warned, once you see her, she sees you.